Good morning, children. Hope all of you have learned the topic of the previous class. In the previous class, we have discussed the topic abolition of slavery. Today, we will discuss about the topic revolution and everyday life. One of the important law that came into effect soon after the storming of the Bastille in the summer of 1789 was the abolition of censorship. What is censorship? Censorship is the suppression of speech, public communication, or other information on the basis that such material is considered objectionable, harmful, sensitive, or inconvenient. In simple terms, it means controlling the freedom of speech and expression. Let's see the existence of censorship in the old regime. Do you remember the term old regime? The term old regime is usually used to describe the society and institutions of France before 1789. So, in the old regime, all written material and cultural activities, books, newspapers, plays could be published or performed only after they had been approved by the censors of the king. As a result of the French Revolution, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen proclaimed freedom of speech and expression to be a natural right. What was the impact of this? The Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen proclaimed freedom of speech and expression to be a natural right. As a result, newspapers, pamphlets, books, and printed pictures flooded the towns of France, from where they traveled rapidly into the countryside. They all described and discussed the events and changes taking place in France. Freedom of speech gave chance to people to express their opinion freely. Now, we will discuss about Napoleon and his role as a modernizer of Europe. We have already learned that after the Jacobin regime, Directory came to power. But the clash between the Directory members created political instability, and Napoleon was the powerful authority, so he took advantage of this situation. And in 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself as the Emperor of France. So when did Napoleon crown himself the Emperor of France? In 1804. Napoleon made a lot of good things, and he saw his role as a modernizer of Europe. He introduced many laws such as the protection of private property and uniform system of weights and measures provided by the decimal system. Protection of private property means people have the right to acquire private property through the right way. Napoleon was very powerful ruler. He wanted to make whole Europe under his control. So he started to attack the neighboring countries of France. When he declared himself as the Emperor of France, there was absolute monarchy in other countries, and he became a good monarch in his country in the initial period. So he told the neighboring countries, if I become your king, this kind of government I will give you, and your present governments are bad. So, whenever he attacked his neighboring countries, people of that country favored Napoleon and they gave support to Napoleon. So, initially, many saw Napoleon as a liberator who would bring freedom for the people. But later on, people realized that He himself was like other monarch. And finally, Napoleon was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. So, what was the importance of Waterloo battle? Napoleon was defeated. Which year? In 1815. What was the impact of French Revolution? It gave three important ideologies: liberty, equality, and fraternity. As a result of the French Revolution, feudalism was abolished from the entire Europe. It gave inspiration to the colonied people. As a result, colonied people they started their independent struggle against their colonial masters. French Revolution also gave inspiration to many Indians. Two of such important personalities were Tipu Sultan and Rajaram Mohan Roy. Let's revise today's topic. The Revolution and Everyday Life. After the storming of the Bastille in the summer of 1789 was the abolition of censorship. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen proclaimed freedom of speech and expression to be a natural right. Newspapers, pamphlets, books, and printed pictures flooded from the towns of France, from where they travelled rapidly into the countryside and described and discussed the events and changes taking place in France. Plays, songs, and festive processions attracted large numbers of people, which was one way they could grasp and identify with ideas such as liberty or justice. Rise of Napoleon Bonaparte. After the end of Reign of Terror, Directory created political instability. In 1804, Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself Emperor of France. He conquered many neighboring countries and placed members of his family on the crown. Napoleon saw his role as a modernizer of Europe. He introduced many laws such as the protection of private property and uniform system of weights and measures provided by the decimal system. Initially, many welcomed Napoleon as a liberator who would bring freedom for the people. But soon, the Napoleonic armies came to be viewed everywhere as an invading force. He was finally defeated at Waterloo in 1815. Legacy of the French Revolution. The ideas of liberty and democratic rights were the most important legacy of the French Revolution. These spread from France to the rest of Europe during the 19th century, where feudal systems were abolished. Later, these ideas were adopted by Indian revolutionary strugglers, Tipu Sultan and Ram Mohan Roy also. So, we have completed this lesson successfully. Let me conclude today's session. I hope all of you have understood the content clearly. For your reference, I have uploaded the URL. Go through it. Notes are also attached along with this. Take it down. A test question paper is also there. Try it yourself. Thank you.